furnaces, stuff like that. About 100 guys years ago. We came down to Florida and we started doing refrigeration and stuff like that. So any kind of walk-in floors, ice machines, all that stuff. So AC is kind of like, to me, a little generic because it's more simple for me to do than the refrigeration. Plus it's not as demanding where you got to work 24/7 because people can actually get a little windy or something like that. So my dad never wanted me to do like crawl in the attics, but obviously I crawl in attics too. That's probably why my knees were going out. Does anyone know what kind of system they have in their house?
I do.
Air conditioning.
Central AC.
There's two types.
I have straight cool.
Straight cool,
Heat pump. Heat pump.
heat pump.
Split
So
system.
Rebecca has a straight cool because she lives south. So she doesn't really need heat that much difference. If you live in Spring Hill, it's probably extra 15 degrees colder, which we're experiencing that right now. So a heat pump. Every system is considered a heat pump. Why is that, guys?
It's required by law.
Because the compressor is a pump that transfers heat. Now, whether it transfers heat outside, where you feel the fan blowing warm air, or it reverses it inside. So we call a heat pump when it reverses and puts the heat inside for heating the house. Now, every system has to have a primary heat, which is the electric heat. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we just had a little bit of cold weather, and what happens is, when I tell you during the summertime to change your filters to get airflow, if you don't change your filters, you'll freeze up. With the heat pumps that reverse cycle going inside, you will actually, with these aluminum coils that are thinner, you can blow freon leaks. And with the shortage of materials out there, you don't want to do that. So everyone go home, check your filter. Just because it says 3M doesn't mean it's 3 months. Date it, so you can date it, and put a reminder in your phone. Go ahead and change your filter. I did one yesterday. The guy said he didn't need a filter downstairs, but he didn't believe him, so he put one in there. He never changed it. It was stopped up. The reason why the guy said don't put a filter there because he had a home household filter in the attic. But 2 years prior to that, he painted the hatch shut in the master bedroom, and the filter did have a date on it up in an air handler, which said 6/2/2020. So not only did it have a 4-inch filter up here, they also had another one here. And they had an experienced person put a UV light and some all this extra stuff. Typically we put UV lights in the air handler. They do work, guys, because if you got a dark, wet area, it can grow the bacterial growth. With the UV light, it's not going to grow there because it's lit. Well, they put it on the back side of the coil where the return is in a filter. What do you think happens with that light in the filter? Do you know? He doesn't know. Okay, that's good. Use me then. Sorry about that. Because the light will actually deteriorate the filter. Also, when your ductwork, you have your ductwork, the plastic ductwork, if you don't have metal or fiberboard, if you have the flex duct, the UV light will actually make that flex start deteriorating too. So it goes in the air handler. Years ago, we didn't have UV protected wiring, so guess what happened in some of the units? I'm sure you've seen it. The wires all burn up. That's how they catch on fire. They fixed that problem though, lucky for you. All right, so when people go to Home Depot to save money, they always go there and buy a thermostat. They always get a heat pump thermostat, right? Well, every unit's a heat pump, so how do you know which one you're getting? So Home Depot gives me a lot of business. A lot of times, when you have a heat pump, like Rebecca, which is just electric heat and outside you only does for cooling, it's a 1-1. It's a cooling or heating. When you buy a thermostat, you'll see them, they'll say like a certain series, and they'll say like 2-1. And a 2-1 is 2 heat. It means you use your heat pump because the unit outside runs at 20 amps versus each heat strip runs at 22.5 amps, which is 45 amps. So you really want backup heat in case your heat pump cannot cool. So how does a heat pump work? Basically, in summertime, say you want 75 degrees in your house, right? And on a 95-degree day, does your AC seem to cool the house good?
Yeah.
No, right?
Mine does.
So there's a split temperature. So the same system that can cool your house with a 20-degree spread, when you want 70 degrees in your house in wintertime, it gets below 40. What's the difference, guys? 30. That's why you have to have backup heat. So the colder it gets, the less it can do. That's why they have to go and defrost like your refrigerators and stuff like that, and go ahead and then use the backup heat. And when the backup heat kicks on, it'll run the whole entire time until it gets to a set point, and then it'll start going back on the heat pump. So now you're running 22.5 amps and 20. Typically, if the wire size is big enough, Chris will test this stuff, you try to max out the heat to get it on real quick and get it up to her so it can stabilize and maintain. Kind of like your car, right? When you're cruising, you're on 4 cylinders. When you step on to pass somebody, 8 cylinders kick in, your fuel adjustment goes down, right? You guys know all this stuff already. Also, I see a lot of grills out there. I brought a couple different grills. These are your ceiling grills that are adjusted. Typically, they do not face and blow into the wall. So if you see them blowing this way in the wall, you're gonna get some wetness on the sheetrock and all that. You're gonna have issues and have to call Jose for restoration. Say, why do we have this? Then these are called sidewall grills. They blow out the sidewall like this. See the difference, guys? Airflow is key to a lot of these things, and if you don't have someone with the right knowledge on how to direct the airflow, or nothing, even like the ones in the ceiling, I see them, they have a grill like this and they blow straight down. But the room's how big, guys? You want to blow over to the fan, let the fan, and the whole room will circulate. So when we're having heating issues, if you don't check your filter before you turn your heat on, and also when you do turn your heat on, let it get up there. If you have a heat pump, let it stay on for extra 5 or 10 minutes to bring that electric heat in. Because last thing you want the system to do is when you turn the heat on, and your electric heat never comes on because it's during the day, but at nighttime the temperature goes down below 40, your electric's gonna kick on, and what's gonna happen at 2 o'clock in the morning when you smell something burning? All that dust and dirt that you haven't used on the heating elements, it's like a toaster. It's gonna start cooking, and then you smell it. Doesn't mean it's on fire, 50-50 on that one. But you will smell something, what the hell is that thing? And the main thing is just be safe right now, because with all the power outages over here, we're still getting a ripple effect through all inlet. We're still having tree damages. So you'll see us seeing transformers blow, wires start burning now, because they've already been stressed enough with electric. So when you start using the heat, remember I told you about the amp draw on the electric heat and the heat pump? We're gonna be using twice the power, and we're already on a shortage of power right now. So all I can tell you is be safe out there. Any questions, call me. And I always say, call me for big money on small stuff. I can tell you guys to change your filter once a month, or flush your drain out, or do something like that, which I've done a lot of you guys like that. It saves you some money, okay? So it's about educating you guys. Any questions? Not Ron, but Ron, go ahead.
How come you don't see big vents like these in like houses?
Because these here they're a 24 by 24 lay-in, so they work perfect in the ceiling grills. And then like we use high velocity grills there versus a small one. Like you get some restaurants, you'll see like the speaker, how they have like little holes. There'll actually be like the diffuser in there, and they'll try to break out like this. But I like the bigger grills like this.
What if you wanted one like that, like over your bed?
That's a great question when you have a one-to-one with Gil.
Yeah.
Or this
Thank you.
week.
Move on.